Hi, boys and girls. This is Mrs. P. I'm reading. There's a glare, but I don't know how to make it go away. An Unlikely Ballerina, written by Christina Porta-Gadu, illustration by Kose Kawa. I'm thinking these are foreign names. I'm not sure. It says, young Lily Marks loved to stand on her tiptoes, and when her parents notice weakness in her legs, her doctor suggests dancing lessons to strengthen them. Lily falls in love with ballet, but can this fragile girl ever become a serious dancer? So let's find out. I have to move the book around a little bit so I can show you all of it, because if I got it real far away, you wouldn't be able to actually see the letters. So here's our title page, An Unlikely Ballerina. And I'm not going to try to pronounce those names again. Little Lily Marks loves to stand on her tiptoes. She would stand still for what seemed like forever and then tiptoe lightly around the room. But as Lily grew older, her parents noticed that she walked awkwardly with her feet pointing out. The doctor gave her clunky lace-up shoes to wear. Lily almost cried when she saw them. She wanted pretty slippers like her sisters had, and the shoes didn't even help her. Her feet still seemed to go in different directions, and sometimes her right leg buckled underneath her. The doctor recommended iron braces to strengthen and straighten Lily's legs. Oh, the leg braces looked even more ugly and uncomfortable than the shoes. Isn't there anything we can do instead? Her mother pleaded. Okay, there's your mom. There's the doctor. These, let me hold it up, are the braces that they want to put her legs in so that they'll be straight. And Lily, she's not looking very happy. The doctor thought for a moment. Would you be willing to try an experiment, he asked. And Lily and her mother both nodded eagerly. Well, you could try dancing lessons, the doctor told them. Lily and her mother were both astonished. But Lily would try anything to avoid having those braces. To her surprise, Lily loved her dance classes. She did exercises at the bar and learned many dance steps. Her legs grew stronger. Dancing lessons are the nicest kind of medicine, Lily told her mother. Oh, look at all their pretty foo-foos. Her teacher noticed how quickly Lily mastered even the most complicated steps. She has natural talent, the teacher told Lily's mother. She never even seems to get out of breath. She should have private lessons. Well, I'm glad to see her legs getting stronger, Lily's mother replied, but I don't expect her to become a real dancer. Oh, they're very pretty. Very pretty people. Oh, look, we must be at the seamstress. At home, Lily taught her 3 little sisters to dance. They put on elaborate performances, and their great-grandfather, who made and sold theater costumes, taught Lily how to make fancy costumes for herself and her sisters. And Lily knew she was his favorite because her middle name, Alicia, had been her great-grandmother's. Lily's father built a stage in the backyard. Neighbors came to watch the sisters perform their shows. Look how beautifully Lily dances, they whispered. One day, Lily's teacher said Lily is ready to dance on a real stage. She wanted the girl to enter a local talent competition, but her parents were worried. Could their fragile 8-year-old daughter perform in front of strangers? So that's the theater. At the competition, Lily danced gracefully to a sad waltz. The audience wept and then applauded wildly. She won first prize. Look at that. The audience's reaction made Lily very proud. Her surprised parents realized their talented daughter should have private lessons after all. Now Lily worked harder than ever at her dancing. She let nothing stop her from doing her very best on stage. Nobody knew she was suffering from chickenpox when she starred in the dancing school's performance of the Arabian Nights, and newspaper critics noticed only her talent. Okay, having chickenpox, it's not good to be exposing all those people. When Lily was 9 years old, her mother told her a secret. When I was expecting you, I saw the famous Russian ballerina Anna Pavlova dance. She was magnificent, and I made a secret wish that I'd have a baby girl who would one day dance as beautifully as Pavlova. And look, she continued excitedly, the great Pavlova is going to perform here in London, and now you'll have the chance to see her dance. Lily's father offered to take her to the show. Look at this. This is the big theater. Look at how many people are there. That is huge. A few nights later, Lily watched, hypnotized, as Pavlova performed. The ballerina was tiny and dark-haired, just like Lily, and although nobody knew it, Pavlova, like Lily, was Jewish. As she twirled, the red and yellow silk petals of her costume transformed her into a blooming flower. Then, with the music fading, Pavlova drew the petals over her face one by one until the flower closed in on itself. Lily turned to her father. I have to meet her, Papa. Please arrange it, please. Look, there's that petal dress. At intermission, Lily's father ran backstage. May I bring my daughter to Pavlova's dressing room after the performance? He asked the ballerina's manager. No, the manager replied. Madame never receives guests in her dressing room. But Lily's father wouldn't give up. My daughter is a talented dancer. Meeting Pavlova is her greatest wish. A young dancer? The manager smiled. Bring her to Ivy House tomorrow. She can dance for Madame. How exciting! While her father pleaded, Lily waited anxiously in her seat, devouring the photos of Pavlova in the program. At last, her father returned with the astonishing news that she would dance for Pavlova the next day. Lily sat transfixed through the rest of the performance. And then she and her father joined the adoring crowd at the stage door, waiting to see Pavlova emerge. Elegantly dressed gentlemen carried bouquet after bouquet of flowers to the ballerina's waiting limousine. Is that the limousine? Because that doesn't really look like a limousine to me. But I can see all the people with their bouquets of flowers. Oh, look. How pretty. Finally, Pavlova appeared, her face nearly hidden by an enormous hat. She climbed into the limousine and, as it pulled away, tossed roses and carnations out the window to her admirers. The next morning, Lily and her father took a train into the countryside. Lily clutched the bag her mother had packed with her best practice clothes. Would she be able to dance her very best for Pavlova? Lily and her father walked up to the grand house, past a pond with a bubbling fountain and graceful swans, past gardens of colorful flowers and stately trees. Pavlova met them at the door and welcomed them warmly. In the dance studio, Pavlova instructed Lily through a series of exercises. Lily's once weak legs moved with strength and grace. That's my chair. When she finished, the famous ballerina smiled. "You could become a fine dancer," she said. Lily's heart beat faster. "But," added Pavlova, "your life will be hard work, and you must be prepared to give up many pleasures." And at that moment, Lily promised herself that she would devote her life to the ballet that she loved. Lily Marks never forgot Pavlova's words. In time, the little girl who had once struggled to walk became Alicia Markova, one of the greatest ballerinas in the world. Is that the end? It is. That is the end. So this is a true story. The afterword, I'm not going to read all of it, but I'm going to try to read some of it real fast. Lillian Alicia Marks was born in London, England in 1910. She was the first of 4 daughters born to Arthur Marks, a Jewish engineer, and Eileen Berry, an Irish Catholic who converted to Judaism. From the moment she decided to become a ballerina, Lily devoted her life to the ballet. She made her professional debut at age 10, and when she was 14, she was selected to join the ballet's Russes, a famous dance company. The company's famous director changed her name to the more Russian-sounding Alicia Markova because the world's most well-known ballerinas at the time were Russian. He thought that no one would want to see a British ballerina dance. Lily became the youngest ever soloist at the ballet's Russes. Okay, I am not going to read all the rest of it. She gave up much for her art. She had promised herself that day at Anna Pavlova's Ivy House. She never married. For many years, she traveled the world dancing with no permanent home. Admirers noted many similarities between Lily and the ballerina who had inspired her. Both were small and dark-haired. Both were Jewish, although Pavlova never publicly revealed her heritage, and Lily was outspoken in her love for Judaism. Both seemed to dance effortlessly, with extraordinary lightness and technical skill. The small, frail girl with wobbly legs and turned-out toes became the first Jewish prima ballerina assoluta in history, inspiring countless young dancers both before and after her death in 2004. And there is a picture of her at age 13. No. This is a picture of her at age 13. This is a picture of her later. Okay, well that was a cool book and a true story. An Unlikely Ballerina. Bye, boys and girls.